to another episode of The Commute.
Where I will be your driver.
And I will be your passenger. Well, it took them about 130 years, but they finally think they know who Jack the Ripper was.
Oh, yeah, I saw the blurb on that. I didn't click on it, though.
Yeah, there was someone wrote a book, and they wanted to write a book. It was called Naming Jack the Ripper. And they claim they have definitive evidence that it was a Polish immigrant named Aaron Kosminski. Is that right? Kosminski. He was the infamous murderer of the 1988 killings that brutally killed and mutilated at least 5 women.
1888, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you said 1988.
Oh, sorry. 1888.
It's pretty recent.
But I'm like, at first I was like, who the fuck cares? You're not going to catch the guy, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But because I thought it was, maybe doctors, but it was a, private author that wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Edwards wrote it. He considers himself an armchair detective who wrote the book. Says he solved the mystery of Jack the Ripper with a crucial piece of forensic evidence he bought at auction a few years ago. It was a bloodstained shawl said to have come from the murder scene of Jack the Ripper's 4th victim, Catherine Eddowes, a prostitute whose maimed body was found on September 30th, 1888. According to Edwards, the shawl is believed to have been taken from the crime scene by an officer named Amos Simpson, who asked his superiors if he could take it home to his wife. She refused to use the blood-stained garment, and they just kept the shawl unwashed, and it was passed down through the generations as like a piece of memorabilia.
Jesus.
So this guy bought it at auction in 2007. He says he has the only piece of forensic evidence in the whole history of the case. So after buying the shawl, this guy got the help of forensics experts and doctors. Dr. Jari Luhalainen, I know I fucked that up, senior lecturer in molecular biology at Liverpool John Moores University. He analyzed the shawl in 2011 and found not just blood on it, but also semen. Over the next several months, they were able to isolate the DNA from the blood and semen. He said he wanted to know if something like this was possible to do from such a limited amount of genetic material, and it was. So the blood sample analyzed was eventually matched with DNA of one of Eddowes, the prostitute who owned the shawl, direct descendants. And the semen sample was matched to the DNA of a descendant of this Aaron Kosminski.
How the fuck did they match that up?
Well, Kosminski, who is a hairdresser who died in an insane asylum in 1919, was at one point the main suspect in the Ripper murders. So they figured, well, let's see, if he was the main suspect, let's track down his descendants and get their DNA and see if it matches the semen. Okay. And it did.
It's like, of all the fucking people they could go to, how the fuck did they...
Yeah, like, that's what I was thinking when I first read that. I was like, wait, did I miss a name somewhere? Yeah. Like, what's going on? So they say that had to be him. They said it was her shawl, her blood, the semen just happens to match a guy who they thought was the main killer. So he says, we have definitely solved the mystery of who Jack the Ripper was. Only non-believers that want to perpetuate the myth will doubt. This is it now. We have unmasked him. Well, so then the people with doubt came forward.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If it was a prostitute, it's not.
It could have had
far-fetched.
Yeah, I mean,
have semen on it from one of her Johns,
and they might have just linked this guy to her, right? Because he maybe went to her every Friday night,
right,
or something like that. And they're saying, let's see, what are they saying? They said the research has not been published in a peer-reviewed scientific journal, meaning the claims cannot be independently verified or scrutinized. So
I don't know. We just armchaired the fuck out of that in like 5 minutes. Armchair detective.
Yeah.
I don't have forensic evidence or nothing, but
I'm guessing there could have been more than one semen sample on that shawl.
Yeah, I mean, like the primary victims of Jack the Ripper were prostitutes. That's why.
Yeah.
I thought. I
mean, from what I understand.
That's where all the murders took place, was in like the red light district, and
I'm guessing she didn't wash her clothes too much.
I don't think anybody did.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
1888.
These whores underwear had to be pretty filthy. They should have taken that.
This
It would
was
have
a
been
shawl.
covered.
This was an outer garment.
She used it to wipe stuff up with, you know?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm drippy. Just got that back around. And the other thing I saw today, it just kind of annoyed me. The owner of Chick-fil-A died.
Yeah.
Dude, this motherfucker was everywhere. Every website I went on had a story about Chick-fil-A guy and memorial to him, and people are putting it on Facebook and
About Chick-fil-A guy?
yeah, like I didn't even know this guy's fucking name till today.
Yeah.
And who the fuck gives a shit that much about Chick-fil-A?
Well, because not that long ago, there was the whole thing where they were putting money towards, like, anti-gay rights
Right.
things, and I guess because he's the founder, he probably didn't have anything to do with the company anymore.
He was like 91
Yeah,
or
he was
93,
91, I mean,
something like that.
I don't think he made that decision.
I don't think so either.
I'm sure he set up, initially whatever it was, but that's a modern CEO that made that decision, not...
It just blew my mind. It was everywhere. It was like, the only person that died recently that people cared more about was Robin Williams.
Yeah.
I think this guy got more attention than Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
You know, like it blew my mind. I was just wondering if I was crazy or
No, I mean, that was...
Did it sadden you to hear that he died?
I don't know. They make a good sandwich.
Yeah, good sandwich, but you're still going to get your good sandwich. It doesn't affect me in any way.
Right.
It doesn't sadden me.
No. Unless they give away free sandwiches.
That would be awesome.
In which case, I will go get a free sandwich.
But that'll just make me happier.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, oh, he died. No, I'm eating a free sandwich. I'll be like, who's going to die next?
Yeah. Hopefully someone with a big sandwich comes out.
Yeah, hopefully the owner of Burger King or Subway goes out next, huh? Alright, so let's see what happened on this day a long time ago. September 8th, 1664. Dutch Governor Peter Stuyvesant surrenders New Amsterdam, the capital of New Netherland, to an English naval squadron under Colonel Richard Nichols. Stuyvesant had hoped to resist the English, but he was an unpopular ruler, and his Dutch subjects refused to rally around him. Following its capture, New Amsterdam's name was changed to New York, in honor of the Duke of York, who organized the mission. The colony of New Netherland was established by the Dutch West India Company in 1624, and grew to encompass all of present-day New York City and parts of Long Island, Connecticut, and New Jersey. Wow, really? Successful Dutch settlement in the colony grew up on the southern tip of Manhattan Island and was christened New Amsterdam. To legitimize Dutch claims to New Amsterdam, Dutch Governor Peter Minuit formally purchased Manhattan from the local tribe, from which it derives its name in 1626. According to legend, the Manhattans Indians of Algonquian linguistic stock agreed to give up the island in exchange for trinkets, valued at only $24.
That's what they did all over the place back then.
For fucking trinkets? However, as they were ignorant of European customs of property and contracts, it was not long before the Manhattans came into armed conflict with the expanding Dutch settlement at New Amsterdam. Beginning in 1641, a protracted war was fought between the colonists and the Manhattans, which resulted in the death of more than 1,000 Indians and settlers. Wow, there was a war over Manhattan? 1664, New Amsterdam passed to English control. English and Dutch settlers lived together peacefully. In 1673, there was a short interruption of English rule when the Netherlands temporarily regained the settlement. In 1674, New York was returned to the English, and in 1686, it became the first city in the colonies to receive a royal charter. After the American Revolution, it became the first capital of the United States. Huh.
I thought that was pretty interesting.
It is interesting, and I guess I should have assumed there was some kind of battle over it since it was the first, area.
And, a prosperous settlement, too.
Yeah. I think it's great that $24 worth of trinkets.
Yeah.
I mean, even back then, $24. You're like, really?
Yep.
You couldn't up that to $100 worth of trinkets?
Right. Well, it didn't mean anything to them,
Yeah.
They probably saw it as a gift. not.
I figured there's not going to be any bullshit, so yeah, we'll take the trinkets.
Trade, yeah. We're all here using the land.
Here's a bobblehead.
Right. Did you ever see that show, New Amsterdam? It was out a while ago. It's got the guy who's Jamie Lannister in Game of Thrones. He's like the lead in it. And he was like a Dutch settler, and like he gets cursed by this Manhattan, I guess, or Indian at the time. He's like has to live forever until some love thing happens. Anyway, it's a good show though. So he's like still alive, like in modern New York, and he's like a New York City detective.
What channel is this on?
I don't know. One of the major ones. I think it was NBC or something. But it's on Hulu Plus now.
I don't even remember hearing about it.
Yeah, it's worth watching. It's good. Does that whole, I don't know, Highlander kind of.
I was just gonna say it's kind of what it reminds me of. You know, keep flashing back to him in ancient times.
This is done a lot better than Highlander. I mean, Highlander, it's okay, but it's pretty cheesy.
Yeah, Highlander's good. The quality isn't there, but. I mean, is there a fight like he's a detective? Is it really a murder mystery show that touches on?
Yeah, all kinds of stuff like that happens. You know, just back and forth between them.
I have to check it out.
Figuring it out.
Seems like NCIS, but
it's really good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's not shit.
It's not NCIS.
No.
Okay. It's not doctors.
No, it's not doctors.
Alright, as long as it's not just cops or doctors.
I don't like those shows. I
can't stand those fucking shows. They're all the same. I couldn't tell you one from another.
Yeah. Except one's got Scott Bakula and another one doesn't.
Yeah.
Depending on which show it is.
One guy's got Lieutenant Dan in it.
One's based in Miami.
Yeah.
And another one isn't.
That blows my mind. People are so involved in this show, they can just put another one out with a different city behind it. It's on 4 days a fucking week.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's a couple different actors.
Can't handle it. The wind's taking them.
Yeah, I think he was trying to get over.
Yeah, he was at first. I saw a turn signal go on. He tried. A for effort, buddy. September 8, 1941, during World War II, German forces begin their siege of Leningrad, a major industrial center and the USSR's second largest city. The German armies were later joined by Finnish forces that advanced against Leningrad down the Karelian Isthmus. The siege of Leningrad, also known as the 900-day siege, though it lasted a grueling 872 days, false advertisement, resulted in the deaths of some 1 million of the city's civilians and Red Army defenders. Wow.
Did you ever see Enemy at the Gates?
Yeah.
That's what that was.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a siege of Leningrad.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
That's an intense movie.
Go ahead. Get up my asshole, you stupid retard.
Wow.
What do you want?
Gross. You can only go this far. You
There's nowhere I can go. Fucking idiot.
My fun rule.
Go ahead, man. It's 55. I'll do
Can't
that.
you see we're trying to do a show?
Gotta interrupt me with your asinine.
We're on this day in history.
Why would you interrupt the history?
September 8th, 1974. A controversial executive action, President Gerald Ford pardons his disgraced predecessor, Richard Nixon, for any crimes he may have committed or participated in while in office. Ford later defended his action before the House Judiciary Committee, explaining that he wanted to end the national divisions created by the Watergate scandal. So, was Nixon like facing shit before that?
I don't think he could be convicted because he was in office at the time. I don't know exactly what he would have been charged with, but I'm sure there was stuff pending or you know.
I was going to say he shouldn't have to defend himself because as a president you're allowed so many pardons. Mm-hmm. But I guess being that it was such a big thing, you had to...
it was just publicly, you know, he had to defend himself.
I thought that's my favorite day, about the last day of a presidency. They have like 10 pardons left, and they're just like, pardon.
See who comes up.
Clinton was like, everybody that was involved in my shit, pardon. Budapest. It's like fucking Olympics or something. Like every 4 years, the pardons come out.
The pardons come around.
That's more exciting than the Olympics too.
Yeah, all the death row inmates have to tuned in.
Come on, Clinton. Son of a bitch. September 8th, 1900. On this day in 1900, a Category 4 hurricane rips through Galveston, Texas, killing an estimated 6,000 to 8,000 people. 15-foot storm surge flooded the city, then situated at less than 9 feet above sea level. And numerous homes and buildings were destroyed. Hurricane remains the worst weather-related disaster in U.S. history in terms of loss of life. Did we do something not too long ago that had more people than that dying?
I don't think it was U.S.
Or was that, yeah, probably guess not the U.S.
I think we were talking about Krakatoa or something.
Yeah.
That was a lot more. But, yeah, it's nasty. I mean, anytime like a big storm comes through there, it like floods way inland. I think, like...
Do they get many hurricanes in Texas? Yeah.
Well, there. I mean, that's... Galveston's right on the coast.
Right on the coast, yeah. It seems like usually when they hit the Gulf, they come in, like towards the east.
Yeah.
So,
but some of them have enough momentum where they just push through the Gulf and they don't make that turn.
Ugh. I can't imagine, because even when you had that, I guess, little one that came through, what was it, a year ago?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. That was shitty.
Yeah.
Got a little scarier. But first it was like, oh, hey, fun. The fucking power goes out and shit all through the town. We're like, oh.
Yep.
It
just got real.
I was knocking on all the doors of the old people that live in my street to see if they needed anything, but none of them are home. I guess they got taken away by relatives before then.
Yep. Moved them out of the storm's path. You did what you're supposed to do, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, if I knew an old person, I would have taken them in. Here's my number. Call me. Call myself.
Hit me up.
September 8th, 1986. On this day in 86, the Oprah Winfrey Show was broadcast nationally for the first time. A huge success, her daytime television talk show turns Winfrey into one of the most powerful, wealthy people in show business and arguably the most influential woman in America. True that, man. That woman's got power, dude. Holy mackerel. So it wasn't national till 86?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Because I know it was around here before then.
How was it? Maybe it was a local...
saying that. But that's what I'm saying. It could have just been maybe a couple cities, right? Because it was out of Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
It was watchable, though. It just became unwatchable.
Yeah, I don't even remember it then.
Yeah, it wasn't like, hey, I was like, hey, I'm 8 years old, let's watch Oprah. But Mom would watch it, you know.
If it's on, it's on.
Okay, so, telepathy is a staple of science fiction. However, an international team of scientists demonstrated what they call the first direct brain-to-brain communication, sending the words hola and ciao between two people thousands of miles apart. They said we were able to directly and non-invasively transmit a thought from one person to another without them having to speak or write. Pascal Leone and colleagues attached electrodes to one person's brain in India and to the brains of 3 people in France, and then asked the person in India to send a message to the others. The researchers used an electroencephalogram, which records electrical activity in the brain to detect the message from the sender's brain. Then a computer translated the message into binary code and emailed it to France, where it was converted back into electrical pulses and applied to the receiver's brains via a process called transcranial magnetic stimulation. The pulses produced flashes of light in the subject's peripheral vision, which they could decode to find the original message. So it wasn't even like they were hearing it.
Yeah.
But they knew, I guess these flashes let the brain know what it was.
Hola and ciao. Both.
Hello and goodbye.
Right. So did the native speaker send the word ciao or hola, and then the receiver received it as...
I guess it's... Let me see. The one was in India, and the others were in France. I mean... So
neither one of those is either one of those languages.
Unless these people were... I mean, just because they did it here, might have just been where the labs were, but the people working on it spoke these languages or were Yeah, they might have thought hello and say English.
Right.
But their brains thought of it as that.
Right. Which is ideally what you want. I mean,
sure,
that's perfect.
Oh, God, yeah. You would never have to learn another language.
There's no translation at all.
You could communicate with anybody. That would be awesome. Now, they say it's not the first time scientists have linked humans in a brain-to-brain interface. Last year, University of Washington scientists successfully sent a brain signal over the internet to control and move the hand of his colleague. So you can fucking control people? I had him just start beating off. I don't know, take this thing off me.
He's definitely doing this, it's not me.
Or I would have done that, just as the guy. Look what he has me doing. Jerking off on your keyboard.
It's not me.
While current brain-to-brain interfaces are rudimentary, scientists envision a more sophisticated version of the technology that could facilitate communication for people who have problems speaking, such as stroke victims.
Sure.
Which, yeah, even more awesome. There are people that can't talk. We hope that in the longer term, this could radically change the way we communicate with each other. So he says. So I thought it was pretty cool.
That is really cool. I like that.
I want them to move on to sentences now.
Yeah.
You know, I have a black cat.
Yeah, I wonder how that would work. Because, I mean, you wouldn't, are you transmitting, is your brain thinking what it is, or is your brain thinking what it's supposed to say to communicate that? Like, are you sending the thought of the thing, or are you sending the words of the thing?
Well, I guess it's the thought, because he just had to think a word. Remember, they weren't speaking. So he thought the word, and then read it, emailed it, and then converted it back into code for the brain to think it. Unless they were fucking with them. I called them the night before. I'm going to say, hold on. I'm tired of working with these bastards. Just let them think it worked. The Amazon Fire phone. Recently it's been on sale for $199.
Oh, yeah.
With a new contract. Well, I guess now, tomorrow anyway, Apple's having an announcement on the iPhone 6. It's going to be coming out.
The only thing I hate about those Fire things, the fucking commercials, those goddamn kids.
Little fucking kids. I don't wish any harm on children, but these kids need to explode.
No, the writers need to explode for giving them the lines to write these things.
But they're just annoying. Like, Jesus. Maybe get a better casting guy or something. I don't know. I can't. Yeah. I just.
They found the most irritating friggin' kids.
And I guess that's. I mean, it might be part of the problem, but I don't think they've been selling too well. Because now with this going on, playing little bastards. You can now get the phone for 99 cents.
Oh, yeah?
99 cents in a 2-year contract. Exclusively through AT&T. It still comes with the 1-year membership to Amazon Prime. Let's see if it says anything about the sales. It didn't live up to the hype. Hardly anyone has purchased the phone thus far. So it's not that surprising that Amazon's severely slashing the price.
It's a flooded market. I mean, what do you expect?
Oh, yeah, and come out with a new phone and just be like... When they started showing you maybe cool things it could do, but really they're just apps. I mean, any phone can get that app.
It wasn't anything that I haven't seen before.
And I heard that the battery life on them was shit.
Oh, yeah?
Amazon reportedly sold fewer than 35,000 phones in the first 20 days.
God, yeah.
In comparison, Apple sold around 9 million iPhone 5S and 5Cs in 3 days.
That's because, I mean, they're on a cycle, though, now, where, they have people keep coming in to get new phones and stuff for those.
And it's the name. People, the iPhone.
Yeah. guess. I mean, I don't know. So, it would have to do something really special.
Oh yeah, for me to get it.
Need a fire.
And I don't even know who, like, is it a Samsung or like who makes this phone? Was that the one that was riding?
Yeah.
Riding in a Kia?
Yeah. Sportage.
Wow. Now you know why.
But yeah, I don't think it did anything different than any other phone. I mean,
they're saying it's criticized as just another way for Amazon to get customers to buy products on its e-commerce site rather than a legitimate competitor to Apple and Samsung phones. It can scan objects with its camera, recognize them, and point you directly to a link where you can buy them on Amazon. So
there's already apps that do that.
Yeah, I mean, I have an app that does that. It's the Amazon app. You know, I mean, I don't need to buy your fucking phone.
Yeah.
And change up my shit. Let's see. And then from that, I'm on to Apple. They haven't revealed any details about the i6 yet. But here's something that doesn't need confirmation. If you buy the next iPhone, you're going to gobble a whole lot more data. That's why I got this one. They're saying that with every new phone you get, you use more data. Right. Because the phone's just more powerful.
And they keep jacking up the price.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, fucking cool. Look, I can do this and I can do that now. It says, let's see. Wireless data consumption is set to skyrocket in the coming years. Last year, the average mobile customer in the U.S. used 1.4 gigs a month. The number is expected to increase more than sixfold to 9.1 gigs a month by 2018.
What?
Because things, even though you're doing things, like you can do more things with them, so those things you can do use more data. To put it in perspective, an hour of streaming of Netflix in HD, which you couldn't really ever do before, but you can now, can use up to as much as 3 gigs in an hour. So if you're using your shit to watch shows or movies.
But, you know, if you're hooked up to Wi-Fi, it doesn't matter.
No, right. That's what I'm
so
saying.
if you're doing it at a place, which you usually are, it just means more places are going to have Wi-Fi access.
You're going to have to, or you're not going to go get your coffee there. You know?
Right.
An hour of streaming Pandora on its default setting consumes 14 megabytes. An hour of video chatting on FaceTime uses 204 megs. While an hour of watching YouTube videos can use 360 megs. And then they go on to say, you know, competition from T-Mobile has forced other wireless companies to bring down their prices recently. Paying for that much data can only cost you more money. So... yeah, you're going to watch more videos, you might be on a faster network, and that uses more.
Yeah.
So, well, there we have it. You decide, but I can't recommend buying the Fire phone.
Well, it's like that, and then they've got the Fire TV thing, too, but there are already devices that did that. Like, I don't understand why that's new or different.
Well, and that's what they're getting ripped for. It's like, you're trying to make it seem like it's something new, but really you just want us to...
Right. I mean, the
hey, like the show, you can buy it here. You know, I guarantee you're flooded with that. I bet you can't do shit on that phone without it saying, like...
Well, you can't do shit on their tablets unless you buy the one that's ad-free.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing. Every time it's turned on, you know, in your face is all these ads and everything else.
It's like watching free porn.
Nothing but ads.
Nothing but these stupid ads. No, I don't want to fucking milk for free tonight. I mean, I do, but I can't. I don't got time.
Local MILFs in your area.
Of Dover, Delaware. Well, that's too far. Bitch needs to be down the street, right? I don't got time. Go down, get a handy, head back. I'm going to Wawa. That was me driving, not jerking off 2 dicks.
Right. That's just someone's controlling your mind.
Yeah, it was some other guy who made me do it. I was like, ciao.
Double dick.
Alright, well, that'll do it for this episode of The Commute. We are approaching 100. This was episode 97. I'm going to try to do something special for 100th episode, so check that out. So like and subscribe on YouTube and Facebook. Check out our website, tocommute.com, TWO commute.com. Follow us on Twitter @driverpassenger, and send us an email at thecommutepodcast@comcast.net. Hope to see you soon.